What does it take to be the guy or gal who brings up the point that this proxy might be outdated? I guess what does it take to have a culture that enables that in the meeting? Because that's a very uncomfortable thing to bring up at a meeting. We all showed up here. It's a
By the way,
Friday.
this is you have just asked $1 million question. So this is what if I generalize what you're asking, you're talking in general about truth telling.
Yeah.
And we humans are not truth-seeking animals. We are social animals. If you go along to get along, you can survive. You can procreate. If you're the village truth teller, you might get clubbed to death in the middle of the night. Truths are often, important truths can be uncomfortable, they can be awkward, they can be exhausting.
Impolite.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff.
Challenging.
Yeah.
They can make people defensive, even if that's not the intent. Any high-performing organization, whether it's a sports team, a business, a political organization, an activist group, I don't care what it is. Any high-performing organization, one of the things you have to do is you have to talk about that. And you have to talk about the fact that it takes energy. You have to talk to people. You have to remind people it's okay that it's uncomfortable. Literally tell people it's not what we're designed to do as humans. It's not really, it's kind of a side effect. We can do that. But it's not how we survive. We mostly survive by being socially cordial and cooperative. And that's really important. And so there's science is all about truth telling. It's actually a very formal mechanism for trying to tell the truth. And even in science, you find that it's hard to tell the truth, right? Even, you're supposed to have a hypothesis and test it and find data and reject the hypothesis and so on. It's not easy.
But even in science, there's like the senior scientists and the junior scientists,
Correct.
and then there's a hierarchy of humans where
It's
somehow
social.
seniority matters in the
Yes.
scientific process, which it should
and that's
not.
true inside companies too.
Yeah.
And so you want to set up your culture so that the most junior person can overrule the most senior person if they have data. And that really is about trying to, there are little things you can do. So for example, in every meeting that I attend, I always speak last. And I know experience, if I speak first, very strong, highly intelligent, high judgment participants in that meeting came in this meeting thinking one thing, but maybe I'm not right. And so you can do little things like, if you're the most senior person in the room, go last. Let everybody else go first. In fact, ideally, let's try to have the most junior person go first, and the second, so that you can hear everyone's opinion in a kind of unfiltered way. Because we really do. We actually literally change our opinions. If somebody who you really respect says something, it makes you change your mind a little.
So you're saying implicitly or explicitly people to have a strong opinion, that as long as it's backed by data.
Yes, and sometimes it can even, by the way, a lot of our most powerful truths turn out to be hunches. They turn out to be based on anecdotes.
Yeah.
They're intuition based, and sometimes you don't even have strong data. But you may know the person well enough to trust their judgment. You may feel yourself leaning in. It may resonate with a set of anecdotes you have, and then you may be able to say, something about that feels right. Let's go collect some data on that. Let's try to see if we can actually know whether it's right. But for now, let's not disregard it because it feels right. You can also fight inherent bias. There's an optimism bias. Like if there are two interpretations of a new set of data, and one of them is happy and one of them is unhappy, it's a little dangerous to jump to the conclusion that the happy interpretation, you may want to sort of